Hello, ladies. It's Hani
Hello.
and Sarah. How are you, girls?
Yeah, great. Happy it's Friday.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so happy to see you again, girls. Okay, and I think it's Sarah's first like entry in the podcast.
It is. It
Oh,
is. Lucky me.
I am
the
honored.
inaugural,
We are honored.
inaugural.
Okay, I'm honored. I'm pretty sure like Hani like shares this sentiment. It's so privileged we feel.
Yes,
Yeah,
honored.
I also feel that. You are some of the smartest people I've had the pleasure of knowing, so can't wait to
Uh,
crack on these topics.
Yeah. So we're actually girls, ladies, okay, discussing the idea of success. And I am pretty confident that is some ideas and concept that you're not like totally oblivious to. That is something you can resonate with, right? Am I correct?
sure.
Mhm.
1000%.
Yeah, because I think that we, the three of us, teach, but at the same time, we also harbor this kind of like ambitious or entrepreneurial side of ours, you know? So, I mean, like just kind of pursuing and chasing our goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is life for if you don't
Yeah.
want to pursue goals and improve yourself and achieve everything you want to achieve, right?
It is something that is also important for you, Sarah?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think if you're not progressing, you're kind of regressing or staying stagnant. So it's
Mhm.
important to go after all the things that you set out for yourself, whether
Yeah.
that's your New Year's resolution or just weekly goals, monthly goals. I mean, you have to kind of strive to be better,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you sometimes feel like the idea of or the concept of the word of success itself has some sort of like there's a bad name around it, like you know, it's kind of like it's something that is somehow frowned upon because like the idea of success seems shallow, superficial, inhumane even. What do you think?
Sarah? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Success, yeah, I guess it's more subjective now,
Mhm.
depending what you consider to be successful. Maybe it's just, waking up and being happy, playing with your kids, or like making a phone call to your loved ones. I don't know, could be something trivial. But yeah, it's not always about monetary or I guess improving yourself as much as also just accepting things as they are or understanding things come and go, they evolve, sometimes they are stagnant. I don't know. I think it's very complex and it's not black and white per se.
Mhm.
Success.
What do you think, honey?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as Sarah said, that success is a very subjective term and it's like a very individual definition. Everybody views it differently. I don't think success is a term that means the same to every person, but I do think sometimes maybe if you're thinking of success purely in like monetary terms, like how much money you make, yeah, I think sometimes that gets a negative kind of perception because people can see you as greedy, right? Or you only think about money, you neglect other aspects of your life. So I think, yeah, I mean, in that case, I perceive like if that's the kind of success you're after and only that kind of success, I don't necessarily think you're a well-rounded person, let's say. I don't think that's the kind of success I would want to go after. But in general, I do think that for most people, achieving success is something that's probably like a positive motivation, a positive drive in their life. Um, and for me personally, I think success should be well-rounded. You should want success in your work life, but also in your personal life, in the type of interests or hobbies you pursue, the types of relationships you have with people. I think that's what I view the good type of success
Okay.
as. Yeah.
Fine, and but I don't think there's anything wrong if alongside, okay, like achieving, you know, like a wholesome life and you know and harmony in your relationships. Alongside that, or on top of that, if you also like receiving some sort of like I don't know, monetary compensation, or if you're on top of that, you're seeking financial independence, for example, there's nothing inherently wrong about that, right?
No, I'm definitely not saying there's
Oh,
anything
okay,
wrong
okay,
with that. I think something starts being wrong with that if that's your only priority.
okay, okay, okay. To the exclusion of anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Fine, girls. So what we're gonna do is like, I'm pretty sure that sometimes, do you have social media, girls?
Yes.
So Instagram, Facebook, all this. And so I'm pretty sure that you might, every now and then kind of come across this kind of super metaphysical, kind of captions, quotes with like like kind of a landscape, which is trying to be like inspirational. And it kind of like, it's something about success, okay? Something that embodies the idea of success. Have you ever seen quotes or captions like those? So you know what I'm talking about, like the typical, like, picture, like, yeah, so if you're not progressing or whatever, okay, like those kind of like super
Yeah.
cliched. My question.
Cursive font over like a sunset background.
Yeah. So my question is, how do they have any effect on you? Do they inspire you? Do they get you inspired? Do they motivate you? Do they leave you completely indifferent, Sarah? So what effect do those quotes have on you, for example?
For me personally, those quotes, I mean, I guess it depends on my mood, no? And like if I'm reading that, I might think, all right, I kind of like that, or wow, this is so corny and cliche, please.
Stop.
Delete it off the internet.
Yeah, I need to like escape for the day. But as I mentioned, it's not so much that's gonna make me do something that I'm motivated about per se, but it could make or break my mood, I guess, depending what I'm indulging. And yeah, sometimes they're really corny, but as I said, sometimes it's like, all right, that was kind of inspirational, but I prefer something, I don't know, a video or a TED Talk or YouTube, or perhaps, I don't know, someone I look up to, like I said, an athlete did something incredible and I'm like, wow, or someone has this story to tell. I guess that I find more interesting than some quote written in words. Kind of doesn't do it for me.
Especially if the person like writing that quote or kind of posting that quote is kind of questionable in a personal level, and that is like, how come you're sharing that post when you are not leading by example? Like exactly.
A lot of those, yeah, that's a whole different concept. Yeah, if the person who shared it is also a lazy POS, then I'm like,
what is your take on that, Hani? How do you feel about this kind of super, kind of like quote, I don't know, inspirational, or on the other hand, BS quotes?
Yeah, most of the time it seems kind of cringe to me. I don't know. To me, it's kind of in the same camp as a lot of like self-help stuff where I'm not really sure who the audience is, and I'm not really sure who sees those types of quotes and feels inspired. I suppose that it's better to see those kinds of pictures and quotes on your timeline than bad news, I guess. So in that sense, they might have a function, and people might like seeing those. But in terms of if they motivate me or if they inspire me or drive me, by no means, no.
Okay.
I think I see them and then I scroll without a second thought.
Okay, yeah, my personal take on these quotes or this kind of like marketing strategies, like I think that when people publish this, of course they're always trying to sell you something, okay? They're trying to get you to buy something, okay? Be it a program, be it a like a book, be whatever, be it a course. And so they know that today's people have really short attention spans, okay? So they are not like they are not willing just to process and intricate or even kind of like lengthy information. They want like people like they want kind of like short information. So they turn to this like super short quotes and captions in the hope of actually like making you bite the bait. So okay, so what we're gonna do is like I'm going to project like a document with actual quotes I have taken from actual profiles on Instagram, and we're gonna take turns like saying whether you think it is BS or there's actually some substance in them. Okay. Okay, can you see this, girls?
Motivated or unmotivated?
Yes.
Okay, you can see this, right? Okay.
Yeah. BS
Um,
detector or corny something.
yeah, kind of, yes, BS detector.
Yeah.
So by the way, I'm not sure if like if the people who are watching this video are going to understand what a BS detector, but do you girls have BS detector?
Bullshit detector?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of bullshitters around me, so
You have to be able to detect it, to see through the bullshit.
yeah, I bullshit sometimes. Who doesn't bullshit?
Yeah, but I'm sure, Sarah, I'm sure you bullshit not to manipulate people, but maybe just to kind of deal with some situations
Yeah,
that,
like to
right?
maneuver my way through a difficult thing that I'm like, I actually have no idea, but I'm gonna bullshit.
Right, right. Yeah, I think I'm with Sarah there. I also have, I think, a pretty attuned BS detector, but it's not that I've had a lot of encounters with bullshitters. Like I try to avoid them. I mean, if as the second I sense that they might be bullshitting, that's when I cut off any contact usually. But I do think that generally, when it comes to people who seem to be manipulative or situations that seem a bit shady or off, I would like to think I'm pretty good at detecting that and veering away from that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I also think like so it's something that you basically you get to hone your skills and you get to hone, okay, to really sharpen, okay, that BS detector, because it's a sign that you're no longer as gullible and naive, okay, and that people kind of like you cannot be taken in so easily.
Right. I
Okay.
guess that I would just like to add that that probably comes with experience and age.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And also, yeah, kind of like having getting a grip on yourself. Like, for example, if you're sometimes I think that the majority of the people, and sometimes like these people take advantage of our uh, impulses to consume or something, because there's something wrong. Okay, you feel anxious, whatever, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden, okay, something like captures your attention, and you think it's gonna be like that solution, okay, so, and if that is embellished, okay, with a powerful inspiring quote, you might bite the bait and just fall for that, okay. So anyway, let's discuss this and go quote by quote, okay, and see whether you think it's BS or there's actually some substance and validity in them. Okay, number one says don't stay in bed unless you can make money in bed. What do you think of this one? Sarah, what do you think of this one?
Kill yourself. I was kidding. Like what? Like whoever wrote this, all right, clearly has never been, I don't know, sick, maybe, or just a human and sleep deprived, or a mother. I don't know. I can think of countless reasons why you might need to stay in bed that have nothing to do with productivity. I mean, rest is equally as important for your productivity. So I think this is mierda.
Yeah,
A no go.
Red
No
flag,
go.
red flag, red flag.
yes.
Do
Yeah.
I
you
would
agree with
have
that?
to I would have to agree with Sarah there. I just as I talked about my definition of success, I did highlight the fact that I really look negatively upon people who only prioritize money. So I feel like if anybody said this to me or sent me a quote with this on it, I would immediately block them.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'd
I
be
mean,
like,
I just I don't understand the type of person that would see this and say, "Hell yeah, this speaks to me." You know,
Yeah, I am that person. I am that person.
I need
that
to block
me?
you, Javi. I need to block you right now.
No, please don't block me. Okay, I'm gonna explain myself. I'm not that person. Like I'm not that gullible, and I'm not gonna like send anyone messages like unrequited messages. But I said that this somehow gets me a bit fired up. Okay, it might even get me fired up, especially when I'm sleep deprived, and I don't know. Like I think sometimes being the light sleeper that I am. Sometimes I'm kind of like at 5 a.m. in bed, like tossing and turning, and say, well, what can I do? So I'm gonna play the hand I was dealt with, and I'm gonna wake up and do something, because the alternative is like staying in bed and being desperate for not being able to go back to sleep. Okay, so in that case, I grab my cell phone, okay, and I see this, okay, well, yeah, let's try to do something, whether that's kind of writing or doing something productive like exercising or doing something like, let's try to instead of being miserable because you cannot get back to sleep, it's just try to look on the bright side and playing the hand I was dealt with. So that's that's the
No,
reason
no,
why I find that there's like a little bit, okay, that if I see that in the morning, in that moment, that might be the final push and what might get me fired up. Say, come on, like get some caffeine and start working.
Hmm.
But I
Sure. I
understand.
mean,
Okay.
I can't relate, but I respect that. And I'm sure, like, even though you would take advantage of that and try to be as productive as you can, I'm sure you still, understand the value of rest, right?
Of course, and I envy anyone who can sleep straight, for 7, 8 hours. Okay, I honestly, I envy them. Like I envy. I'm so jealous. Okay, I'm so jealous. I don't have that. Okay, I'm also, kind of like affected by chronic insomnia. So, what can I do? What can I do?
Lucky.
Yeah. Okay, so but it's kind of like misleading this quote. It looks like it's saying or it's implying that unless you're a male or female escort, okay, you should like, jump jump out of bed and start like doing something. Okay, getting shit done, getting stuff done. Next
The,
one.
the kind of person that says sleep when you die or something like that.
Yeah, and then you die, and then you're like, you're not happy about dying. Okay. Next one. Pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. What do you think of this one? It sounds kind of like over dramatic, doesn't it?
Yes, but I feel like these quotes usually have to sound dramatic to get people's attention, so I get it. But my opinion about this, at least, is that it's much more relatable and valid than the last one, in the sense that I resonate with the fact that life is full of adversity and a lot of challenges. And in order to be successful, in order to achieve your goals, you will have to know that you'll have to face some pain, some obstacles, and you'll have to overcome those. So I do agree with it that even though in those moments it seems like the suffering, the obstacles will never end or you'll never be able to get over them, if your goal is worth achieving and you're determined, I think that you'll see that if you give up, you're going to regret it. But if you continue, all of that suffering beforehand will have been worth it. So I agree with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hanny for president.
So does this
No.
does this like strike a chord with you as well, Sarah?
Yeah, I liked everything she said, but I just really don't like the word pain here.
Yeah.
I would say uncertainty, uncomfortableness, yeah, that is temporary.
I mean, Sarah, would you say that, pain, I guess most people think of it as like physical pain, but wouldn't you say that sometimes you face really tough challenges that you can say kind of cause psychological pain to an extent?
Yeah, pain's just such an intense word. I would just be like,
It is. I agree.
bothered or annoyed or like,
Sure.
oh, this is something I have no idea what I'm doing and that's uncomfortable.
Okay.
But it's not like, oh, excruciating mental torture.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't put myself through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, uncomfortableness is temporary and something all of us have to do to advance forward in anything. Your first steps, learning your first word, eating correctly, winning your first race. I don't know. There's tons of examples of this, but I mean, yeah, if you quit, that will last forever, but maybe that's a decision you need to take to be healthier or better about something.
I like that last point, actually. I do think sometimes it's wise to know when to quit also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think all of these things don't define anything. I'm quite in the gray area on most matters.
What do you think, Javi?
Oh, do I think I don't know, like both of you are, I really agree with what you said, girls. Okay, so, but I have to say, okay, that we have the three of us at some point have like have tried to chase our goals, and especially in the world of entrepreneurship, the reason why I think that the majority of the projects do not like work is because like people can stand adversity, and people like in general one is like at the first sign of adversity or you're gonna quit. Okay, so I think that if you, I agree with you, Sarah, what you said. Because sometimes, like it is like more, it's much more wiser, okay, just to quit, because that is, you're beating yourself, you're beating your head against the wall, okay, and there's no point in kind of like persistent, okay, in something that is kind of like causing you unhappiness, okay. But I think that if you think that a goal is worth pursuing, you're gonna face some discomfort, okay, and it's part of life. Okay, I don't think that we have this kind of delusion or delusional thinking that life should be easy. No, no, no. Life shouldn't be easy. Okay,
Right. If you never
shouldn't be easy.
experience any discomfort, I think you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, and that is like the goals that we achieve in the face of adversity are the ones that make us more fulfilled, I guess. Okay, so I agree with you. Sometimes it's the wisest thing to do is to quit, because that is kind of like destroying your life. But sometimes if you push through that a bit, okay, something positive lies at the end of the tunnel, So
Yeah, absolutely.
next one, an inch of movement will bring you closer to your goals than a mile of intention. Wow, profound.
Yeah, absolutely. This one I 100% agree with.
Yeah. Me
Yeah,
too.
because like I know before we've had the conversation about paralysis by analysis, and that's what this brings me to, is that you can think about something and talk about something into exaggeration or exhaustion for so long, and you really are just stalling. In the end, I think those that work in silence go further. And I think in the end, when you have your mind set on something, you go after it, and the actions are what bring you closer to whatever goal you have, or the habits that you create bring you closer to the goals you have, instead of just talking about it, or the intention of thinking about it. Intention here is that, right? Like you're just thinking about it or talking about it. You're not really acting. That's how I interpret this.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I agree with all of what you said. So I don't think I have anything else to add, but
Yeah.
Holly, do you want to add anything?
Yeah,
to
so
this?
it also reminded me of the concept of paralysis by analysis, okay? And it's that sometimes like people, I understand, okay, because I have like experienced this myself. Whenever, I mean, it can be intimidating when you want to start something and you know that it's going to require a lot of mental energy and committed action. So it's I think it's always to stall for time when you're actually like you're saying, oh, yeah, but I need to find the perfect strategy, plan, workout, program, and then and only then will I start, okay, like and sometimes no, it doesn't work that way. Okay, start, like fail, start, fail, start, fail. Okay, even if your beginnings are pretty humble, that is gonna get you closer. Okay, like because who's to judge you? Okay, so if you don't have like perfect stellar results from the very beginning, who's going to judge you? I mean, who cares? I mean, nobody cares actually. Okay, but that kind of process of trial and error is going to get you closer to what you want to become. So yes, absolutely.
Right, and the whole trial and error thing, I think probably for a lot of people, the reason that they focus so much on intention and like thought before they actually do something or act is because they're afraid of failure. And so I think that people should learn to be okay with potential failure. I think failure is kind of a necessary part on the path to success.
Of
So
course.
if people kind of expected failure and even embraced it because it's a learning opportunity, I think a lot of people would find it easier to act. But of course, as with all of these things, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And most people don't really embrace failure. But I think that's an important part of success, is being able to make mistakes and to learn from them.
But I also think, like, apart from the idea that you have to sometimes you eventually need to face failure in order just to hone your skills and go back to the drawing board. I think that the idea of just starting with something can be very intimidating to many people. Why? Because it is hard. It's like, you're kind of like, and you really step out of your comfort zone. I know, like, super cliche idea, but stepping out of the comfort zone and just trying to embark on in something and just trying to I mean, it can be, you know, it's gonna be, it might be mentally and physically exhausting. So,
Mhm.
so you might find excuses just to like say, okay, well, I haven't found the perfect plan, you know. So,
Right.
speaking of excuses, okay, it's like like next one says, your goals don't give an F word about your excuses. Sarah, what do you think of this one?
Obviously, quite evident. Nor does anybody else care. Probably your boss,
Oh, good
but
point.
especially yourself, you know, like
Yeah.
no one really wants to hear your excuses. There's a difference between excuse and like communicating where there might have been a mishap or, you
Mm.
know, human error. But
Yeah.
I think, you know, if you're just making excuses for yourself, you're gonna get nowhere. And obviously, your goals are just gonna stay here. They're gonna be the same goals every month because you're doing nothing.
Hmm.
So this is self-explanatory. Obviously, I think it's a hell yeah.
Yeah.
You too, honey?
Yeah, I mean, of course, agreed. As Sarah mentioned, nobody cares about excuses, and when you make them for yourself, you're gonna feel it. I mean, usually when people make excuses, it's more about like the self-suffering. You're gonna feel guilt, you're gonna feel like a failure, you're gonna feel regret, you're gonna feel all of these negative feelings that hopefully will drive you to no longer make excuses at some point. But yeah, I think that's your body's way of telling you like we don't care what excuses you make. You just need to like get your shit together and do what you need to do. So I think even your body gives you signals
Yeah.
that it doesn't care about excuses.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
I think that you know you know the propensity or the inclination to making excuses like reveals a sign of immaturity. Okay,
Mm,
it's like it's completely opposed to the idea of accountability, and especially when you're making excuses and you're putting the blame on somebody else. Like, yeah, it
right.
was like you know, it was like, man, come on, like when, and especially because we might know of some cases actually where a person has failed to be successful and it was somewhat it was always like somebody else's fault.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they don't like me
exactly.
because they don't like me because like when you
I don't think there's any type of person I dislike more than people who can never take accountability
that is
for
it.
anything. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they like play the victim.
Oh, yeah.
It's like enough, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that the last one is pretty similar to, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill for regret. Yeah, it's
Mm.
pretty similar to the previous ones.
Yeah, but I don't like this one.
Why not?
No, I don't like this one.
Okay, why?
Because I don't really think I have regret.
Mm.
Like I can say that perhaps I'm not seeing the results or I'm unhappy with my current situation or unhappy or whatever, which I think is the emotion most people might feel to even want to change, no? There's unhappiness about something, a feeling, a negative feeling towards something. But I don't would ever say I regret. Like I think you make usually the best decision for yourself with the resources that you have in that moment. And you have to trust that. And I just don't think there's much to regret unless it was something catastrophic or incriminating. Yeah, maybe then.
Mm.
But the average person isn't doing those type of things. So for me, I don't know. I've never lived in these extremes. This is kind of an extreme
Uh-huh.
case.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this one I'm split on because first of all, I don't know what the price of winning refers to. Like, is it what are you winning exactly? So in the context of maybe like um, having a goal and not being able to achieve it, in that case, I don't know if I'd experienced regret. I would feel maybe uh, I don't know, like disappointed. I would feel like I need to change my plans. I would feel like I need to kind of reconsider things, but I don't think I would feel regret for not being able to achieve something. And I think, yeah, like Sarah said, the only time I feel regret or have felt regret in the past is just maybe not doing something earlier, but at the same time, like Sarah said, maybe earlier wasn't the right time, so I can't really regret something that I'm not even sure would have happened. So yeah, I think regret is a very loaded word, and I think it's quite unique. Like, I mean, unique in the sense that I think it will take a lot for me to feel regret.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't think I agree with this caption or this quote very much.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, I don't know what to think of this one. Okay, I think that sometimes it's like you have to. I think it's of course, like, it's ultimately aimed at getting you to buy something. Okay, that's of course. Okay, it all comes down to that. But if I try hard to find some substance in it, I'm saying that sometimes it is basically the idea that I explained before. Sometimes the idea of embarking on something and stepping out of your comfort zone is so intimidating and uncomfortable that you might just try to say, well, no, you will try to find excuses and you try just to remain in that comfort zone. But that, that we all know where that is going to take you. Okay, so you might regret not having, like, given more, having put the effort, or having tried hard before. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, next one and last one says, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. Never stop climbing. So it's an ode for kind of like more and more and more. I want to get more. Okay, like, I need to outdo myself all the time. What do you think of this one?
I'm gonna take the reins on this one and say I completely disagree with it. I really don't like this sentiment of constantly being dissatisfied with where you are. I think that, of course, like, reaching the top of one mountain is quite commendable. I think if you're able to reach the top of one mountain, give yourself credit, take time to rest at the top, take in the view, be proud of yourself, and not continue to think immediately, okay, how do I climb the next peak? I think this kind of mentality can be quite toxic, and it's this kind of like hustle culture thing where it's never enough. There's never enough money. There's never enough work. There's never enough connections you can make. There's never enough, like, of anything. And you're constantly chasing the next high, the next top. I think this is really toxic and I really don't like it. So I have quite a strong opinion about it. Yeah.
like BS, complete BS.
For me, this is BS.
So your BS detector is like kind of, it's buzzing.
Yeah.
It's buzzing.
Yeah,
It's buzzing.
Yes, for me.
What about you, Sarah?
For me, I would have to agree with everything she said, 1000%, because basically, it's like this vicious loop that you're never satisfied and you're not celebrating yourself or your wins or the effort you took to even accomplish one mountain or one obstacle, let alone, like, you just can't. I just think it's a toxic loop that you could get caught up in, and it's not healthy for your mind. I mean, it's great to achieve one mountain and celebrate there for a while and stay there for however long you're happy with it, until you see that maybe other negative feelings are creeping into your life and you reevaluate and reassess. Maybe it's a little hill that you have to achieve, or it's not necessarily a mountain. Maybe it's just this little hill that you have to overstep to be happy again, or to feel satisfied. But I don't agree with this. Let's look for the next big thing, and the next and the next and the next. Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, Javi, what's your opinion?
I honestly think that this is kind of like this sort of mentality of always like chasing the next big thing is somehow ingrained in our minds. Okay, I think that humans are by nature, dissatisfied. And so there's a couple of ideas that really resonated with me. One of which says that is the chase is better than the catch, which means, like, whenever you're kind of like looking for something and you get, it's like, but so it was not the thing that you want to attain, because that is temporary. It was the process of like actually working your way up to that, okay, which made it so exciting. Okay, so I think that is the excitement that we miss. And yes, I think we have this, this ambition just to not always get more in terms of money, okay, but the excitement that we experience when we are so enthusiastic, okay, enthusiastically engaged in something, that is what we miss when we get that, what we have achieved. Okay, it's like, wow, okay, it's like, for example, if you're playing in a band and you record a great album, I'm pretty sure for the majority of the musicians, they're not gonna kind of like always, kind of rest on the laurels and just try to indulge in the nostalgia. They want to create something as commendable and as magnificent. Okay, so yeah, but that is not incompatible with actually indulging and kind of like and enjoying what you have done. Okay,
Yeah.
and for me, I think the idea of what Stephen Covey says, that we have to sharpen the saw. Okay, it's very, I mean, it's you sometimes need to step out and give some time to rest and not always be in this kind of constant loop of and the hustle, and that's very toxic, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think there needs to be a balance between, like self-improvement and progress, but also not constantly looking for the next high, because
That is
that's
it.
what
That is
drug
it.
addiction is. And it's certainly not a good thing. So
Definitely.
there has to be some type of balance between celebrating your highs, your achievements, but also sitting in them,
That's
just
it.
taking it in,
That's it.
for a while. Yeah.
Ladies, it was a complete pleasure. Okay, we're about to this is about to run so this is about to finish. Okay, it was like your insights were amazing, invaluable. I really, really, really thank you for like joining the meeting. Okay, and I wish to see you soon, ladies.
Likewise. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yeah, it was quite insightful and fun. So
Yeah.
ready for the next one.
Absolutely.
All right, bye guys.
Bye bye bye. Good.
Bye. Take care.